Good morning, class. Today we will start with Paper Boats. It is the poem written by famous Indian poet, storyteller, and dramatist Sri Rabindranath Tagore. So, first we will go through the poem and then we will do the explanation. So, let's start. Day by day, I float my paper boats, one by one down the running stream. In big black letters, I write my name on them and the name of the village where I live. I hope that someone in some strange land will find them and know who I am. I load my little boats with surely flower from our garden and hope that these blooms of the dawn will be carried safely to land in the night. I launch my paper boats and look up into the sky and see the little clouds setting the white bulging sails. I know not what playmate of mine in the sky sends them down the air to race with my boats. When night comes, I bury my face in my arms and dream that my paper boat float on and on under the midnight stars. The fairies of sleep are sailing in them, and the lading inns their baskets full of dreams. By Rabindranath Tagore. So, children, now let's start with the explanation of this poem. In this poem, the poet, that is Rabindranath Tagore, is telling about the famous childhood game that we all love to play. That is making paper boats out of old newspapers and magazines and then floating them in streams or maybe water that is locked outside our houses. So children, इस पोम में रबीन्द्रनाथ टैगोर जी ने हमें एक कॉमन सा गेम जो हम सब ने बचपन में खेला है और मे बी आज भी करते हैं. वी मेक पेपर बोट्स आउट ऑफ ओल्ड न्यूज़पेपर्स और मैगजीन्स एंड देन वी फ्लोट देम. हम उनको तैराते हैं इन द वाटर दैट इज़ लॉग्ड आउटसाइड आवर हाउसेस. वाटर लॉगिंग हो जाती है, पानी भर जाता है, तब आप उस पर उसको घुमाते हैं या तैराते हैं. Now, let's start with the explanation. Day by day, I float my paper boats one by one down the running stream. So, the child is playing by the side of a stream. And that child in the picture, if you see, she makes paper boats daily and floats them in the running stream. जो उसके घर के पास एक छोटी सी नदी या स्ट्रीम है या जो पानी भरा हुआ है, she makes paper boats and then floats them there. In big black letters, I write my name on them and the name of the village where I live. And on that big paper boards, that child is writing with black pen, black ink या black pen से वो अपना नाम उस पर लिख देता है and also the name of the village. I hope that someone in some strange land will find them and know who I am. And with the hope, why the child is writing their name, or why the child is writing his or her name on the paper boat. With hope. Hope means आशा या उम्मीद. Because उस छोटे से बच्चे को ये उम्मीद है that the boat will float to the strange land. वो जहाँ पे भी float होके जाएगी वहाँ पे somebody will read it, will get that boat, and people will know that child. वो लोग उसे जान जाएंगे कि ये बोट उस बच्चे की है. So with this hope, the child is writing the name and the village. I load my little boats with surely flowers from our garden and hope that these blooms of the dawn will be carried safely to land in the night. It means I load. I load means I fill my boat with surely flowers from their garden. Surely is a type of flower. एक तरह का फूल है जिसे वो अपने गार्डन से लेके अपने बोट में भर देता है बच्चा. The surely flowers always bloom in early morning. Dawn word means early morning. Will be carried safely to the land in the night. And she hopes that these blooms will be carried, these blooms, these flowers will be carried safely down the stream to some other land in the night. That means रात भर जब बोट पूरे दिन ट्रैवल करेगी उन फ्लावर्स के साथ, तो रात में वो किसी सेफ जगह पे उन फ्लावर्स के साथ पहुंच जाएगी. राइट. I launch my paper boats and look up into the sky and see the little clouds setting the white bulging sails. Now, what does this mean? It means that after making my paper boat move, launch means एक बार उसे तैरा दी, float करा दी, I look up into the sky. That little child is looking up to the sky and see the little clouds setting the white bulging sail. That means जब वो बच्चा अपनी नाव पानी में तैरा देता है, float कर देता है, after that when the child looks up at the sky, what that child finds? The child sees little clouds floating in the sky. Right? Clouds, उसको white clouds sky में float होते हुए तैरते हुए दिखते हैं. The cloud appears to her like the white sails of the boat. And then what that child is saying in these lines? Setting the white bulging sails. So the child is comparing that clouds, floating clouds are like the boats with white sail. Right? Then I know not what playmate of mine in the sky sends them down the air to race with my boats. Then the child is saying she wonders who might be her friend. Playmate means her friend in the sky who has sent these clouds to race with her boat. I know not what playmate of mine in the sky. That means the child is imagining that she is having some friend in the clouds, in the sky. कि उसका कोई दोस्त है स्काई में जिसने sends them down the air to race with my boat, जिसने उन clouds, उन skies को clouds के रूप में भेज दिया है so that it can race with his or her boat. See, children, what happens? Sometimes you can see that in blue sky there are white clouds, और white clouds आप कभी ध्यान से देखेंगे, then they keep on moving. So child is imagining कि नीचे मेरी बोट तैर रही है and in sky what is happening? Clouds are moving. So she is just imagining that somebody has sent those clouds to race with the boat. दोनों की रेसिंग हो रही है. When night comes, I bury my face in my arms and dream that my paper boats float on and on under the midnight stars. So now the child is saying, when night comes, I bury my face. Bury means छुपा लेना. Here the bury word means to hide. So during night, what the child is doing? She is hiding her face in her arms and dream. And again the child is imagining that my paper boats float on and on under the midnight stars, because at night the sky is loaded with stars. बहुत सारे सितारे तारे चमकने लगते हैं. And then the child is still imagining that whole night the boat will travel, will float on and on, माने आगे जाती जाएगी, and the boat will reach some other land. The fairies of sleep are sailing in them and the lading ins their baskets full of dreams. Now the child is saying that boat will travel throughout the night and the fairies of sleep are sailing in her paper boat, and after loading them with baskets full of dreams. That means कि child is just imagining that वो बोट तो रात भर ट्रैवल कर रही है और उन बोट्स में फेरीज, परियाँ, बहुत सारी परियाँ, फेरीज ऑफ स्लीप आर ड्रीम्स. दैट मीन्स ड्रीम्स भी उसके उस बोट के साथ आगे जाते जा रहे हैं. एंड व्हाट आर दोज फेरीज ऑफ स्लीप डूइंग? दे हैव लोडेड दैट boat with the baskets full of dreams. So in a way that boat is loaded with lots of dreams of that little child, and the child is imagining that whole night the boat will float and will definitely reach some other strange land where people will come to know, because there is name and village written on that boat. So children, I hope the poem is clear to you. Thank you.